Today, I want to talk to you about pleasing others. I'm going to talk about why it seems like women tend to be pleasers more than men, and I want to talk about the difference between pleasing and giving. At the end, I'm also going to give you tips on how you can start putting yourself and your needs first without giving up being a kind, loving, giving person. I see it a lot. So many approaches I get for therapy from women. The first thing I do is I ask, why now? What is your concern? I noticed a pattern. It was mainly women asking to revive the dreams, to find themselves, because sometimes giving for and pleasing everyone around us is just not enough. And I started thinking, what is it about us that makes us say we're okay with whatever is brought to us? We take on the world and we forget ourselves in the process. It's interesting because society has progressed so much since the 50s and even before, and still there are different expectations from women and from men. Even in studies, you can see that women do take on more. Gender norms is what determines what we do as men, as women, what is expected out of us. These differences with men and women that society reinforces were actually determined many years ago. It came in a primitive way for survival. But these days, when we don't need that, we don't need the women to stay at home while the men go and hunt, society is still reinforcing it. So it is not relevant to survival. What is it relevant for? All people are vulnerable to the impacts of unhealthy, toxic relationships, but somehow women are brought up in a way that makes them sometimes more susceptible to this kind of behaviors, and it could cause them to be a people-pleasing person easily. In society, some of us as women have heard that as a young girl, you have to be quiet and you have to be nice and oriented towards others and how are they feeling. Try not to speak up and don't say what you want. And these behaviors are reinforced by society, which causes this disadvantage of women and us as women taking on more. People-pleasing behaviors were even shown in studies that talked about 54% of women presenting these kind of behaviors, and in men it was 40%. So even there we see that we tend as women to be more people-pleasing. And obviously this affects both mental and physical health, but what I want to talk about is the mental health, because when you please others, sometimes we see it as giving. We're giving out of ourselves and we're there for them, but there's a price. And that's why I first want to talk about the difference between pleasing and giving. Pleasing is about you. Basically, when we please someone, we're looking for something in return. When you please someone, you're acting from a place of fear. It's not a conscious fear. It's more unconscious of maybe the fear of not being alone, fear of not being loved, fear of not being okay. When you please someone and they respond in a certain way, you feel that you're doing fine. And it's important to say, it's not that it's not okay to need something or want something from someone. We all need the love and affection, and we all need to know that we're okay, but we don't want to live there. We don't want our motives and everything we do will come from that place. Giving, however, comes from a place of pride. It's what you do when you really love and care for someone. You're giving them not even what they want, but what is good for their future and what is good for them. So I want to bring it into context. I'm going to give you a few examples of pleasing and then giving. The first example is, imagine a woman that made plans with friends. She really looked forward to it, and then her husband calls her and says he wants to meet up, he misses her. Now, don't get me wrong, it's okay to say, I'm not going to meet my friends, but are you saying okay because and ditching your friends because you're afraid he's not going to love you, or because he's going to be mad, or he's going to be disappointed in you? Are you dropping everything just to please someone else? Another example is stacking up chores and meetings and loved ones, and you're taking care of everyone around you while you're tired and you can't even make the appointment that was your hair appointment or your doctor's appointment, something that was important to you. because you put everybody's priorities above yours? As I said, it's not going to be, it's not for sure going to be conscious, but it might be out of the fear of losing their love, of being alone, of not being good enough. The third example is actually regarding parents. The parents that give so much to their kids. It could be men, it could be women, that give and give and give and give and can't say no. And they say it comes out of love. And don't get me wrong, it could be love, giving gifts and loving, and it is part of it. But when you're giving, unintentionally, you're saying that you don't want to lose their love because you can't say no. You're afraid of using that word. Giving is a message. It's an act. It's an act of love, because when you give, it comes from pride, knowing that you're giving and what you're giving can't be taken away from you. I can talk about pleasing so much because I know it myself. I know that feeling that you feel bad saying no, even if it's someone that is not that close to you. You want to say yes to everything. You want to go the extra mile just to please the person that's asking or that's around you. And at the end, so many times you get disappointed when you're not getting the same treatment from the other side. And no, it doesn't promise that you will be loved. But what promise that you will be loved is, first of all, by you. So I want to talk about a few examples for giving. Giving can be making someone feel significant, giving the person in front of you resources to feel good. Rather than trying to keep them happy out of the fear of losing them, do you give them despite of the fear of losing? Giving can also be setting boundaries, telling your partner you need a few minutes, telling someone you need a day off, taking a rest day at home from work. When you do that, you can come back and be a better you, better mother, better partner, better employee. Giving is not only about expressing what you need, it could also be just by the word no. Saying no, I need more time, I need something, again, can bring you happier, pleased, restful to the interaction you want with your kids, with your husband, with a friend, or with your mother. So how to put yourself first. In a moment, I'm going to talk about practical tips on how to start giving instead of pleasing. But before that, don't forget, if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Join to this beautiful family of women. The first thing I want you to do is take out a piece of paper and a pen and write down every decision you've made to please others. Let's say in the past month. If you can't, write in the past week, but as far back as you can remember. Now, next to each decision, I want you to write what were the consequences of the decision. And the main thing I want you to notice is write down how you felt after. Also write down how the person that the decision was directed at reacted. How long did the reaction last? Was it the reaction you were hoping for? The second thing, I want you to think about and write down the, let's say, 3 to 4 main relationships that you have. Answer 2 things. What would really benefit me in the relationship? And the second thing would be, what would benefit the relationship in general? Now, if you read everything you just wrote, I'm sure you're going to see a pattern, something that is missing. A point where you say yes when you wanted to say no, or when you wanted to discuss something. So now what you can do is, thirdly, write down 3 actions that you're going to do this week regarding putting yourself first, regarding start to give and not please. And again, giving is out of pride, out of you knowing that you're not going to lose the love of your child, of your husband, or your parent. But pleasing is about the fear. And the fourth thing that I want you to do out of that is I want you to talk about the fear. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of losing? Do you need to feel okay, that you're doing okay? Write down what is your biggest fear. The fifth thing is we want to start attacking the fear. We want to start creating what I call a psychological space between what you're feeling, this urge to say yes and to please, and the action. Because once you can stop at that point, you can reconsider. You can maybe choose this time to say no. And it takes a while because we're so used to how we behave. But even if you do it once, it's gonna encourage you to start acting on your needs more. So I want you to write down what is the one thing you can do before you make a decision. It could be before you say yes or no or decide, just go and have a drink. Say, whenever I need to decide something, I'm gonna say, give me a moment and I'm going to the bathroom, or I need to breathe. Do something gives you clarity, and you can start thinking about maybe acting differently. And the last thing I want you to do is, if you can stop and choose differently, what would you do? What is the action that you want to take, or maybe actions you want to start taking in your life to put yourself first? So I'm so happy you came today. I know that these tasks that we just did, it takes a while to even understand, but start writing it down. Know yourself, know what you're giving up when you're saying yes, and start asking, what do I want for myself? Remember that giving is not losing the love of someone else. It doesn't mean that you love yourself more. It just means that you are worth your priorities, and you're worth being happy for everyone around you, because they're going to get a better, happier person as well as you. So thank you for coming, and I hope I'm going to see you here on Tuesday. Don't forget to like this video, hit the bell button so you can get notified whenever I upload new videos, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm here every Tuesday waiting for you. So until the next time, thank you and bye.